for joining this session on how to scale your B2B startup on Google Cloud. My name is Donovan, and I'm the head of ecosystem growth and partnership management at Google Cloud. This session is focused on how startups are using Google Cloud. Today, we'll share the journey of 3 startups building and going to market on Google Cloud. I'd like to welcome and thank Anish from Cortex and Greg from Tiny Clues for joining me today. This session will briefly touch on Google's programs for startups, but we will highlight some great partner success stories of startups building solutions on Google Cloud, leveraging the Google Cloud for Startups program. We'll hear from Cortex, Tiny Clues, and we'll finish it off with hearing a little bit about sound commerce. To complete our strategic focus on data cloud and enterprise security, we created programs to engage emerging enterprise ISVs in those domains. These programs will offer unique benefits, including technical mentorship and go-to-market assistance to help startups build and grow their business. To see a couple of these early program participant ISVs have already benefited from the program, both Cortex and Tiny Clues are here at Next, and we'll be talking about how we're working together on Google Cloud via the startup program. So let's check them out. Hello, Anish. Thanks for joining. Would you mind giving an introduction of yourself and telling us a little bit about Cortex?
Thanks, Bonnie. Hey, everyone. My name is Anish. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cortex. We've been building Cortex for about 3 years now, and it was largely based on our own experiences as engineers. I was previously at Uber, which is kind of like the classic case of microservices gone wrong. I think on my team itself, there must have been 500 services and thousands across the company. And it became really difficult to understand which teams owned which services and whether these services were following best practices and things like production readiness and security standards. And I remember we would track all of this in spreadsheets, which would always go out of date when you needed them, especially since services are named after things like TV shows, and the engineers who write these services leave the company. And so really started Cortex to give organizations visibility into the ownership of their services and infrastructure, really helping to drive teams' adoption of best practices, ultimately delivering high quality software. I'm sure everyone has seen a version of this spreadsheet. I actually maintained one of these when I was at Uber. Oftentimes, SRE or security teams will have 5 or 7 of these, tracking all of the services that exist in the company, and every column is a different internal tool that you have to track data from. Obviously, you can imagine this spreadsheet becomes really impossible to maintain and even harder to draw insights from, like which teams are actually following those best practices, where are the areas of risk in the business from a reliability or security perspective. And it's even harder to actually get leadership to look at these and for engineers to actually understand where should I be focused on to improve the quality of my service. We really found that there's 3 customer pain points when it comes to basically a service-oriented architecture. The first is that service ownership is really difficult to understand. Because there are so many services in the company, engineers, especially new ones who onboard, can find it really difficult to understand where the documentation for service lives, who's on call, some service goes down and who's actually the owner of the service. I think that exercise can waste a lot of time in on-call incidents. And the second problem is that best practices become really difficult to enforce. You'll have a production readiness standard or security standard that is being tracked in the Confluence page or Google Doc, but how do you actually know whether teams are following these best practices? And when you have incidents like Log4j, when there are thousands of services affected, it becomes practically impossible to really corral and figure out who is responsible for the service and which services or teams need additional resources to kind of meet those best practices. And then finally, you have very limited visibility into the health of services, right? SRE and security teams are often forced to maintain spreadsheets that look really similar to the one I showed earlier. And it's hard for executives to then draw insights and understand, are teams actually following those best practices, and is quality moving in the right direction? Really, and this is why we built Cortex. This is the Cortex platform. This is the service homepage. It really gives that single pane of glass to understand everything about the service. So you can understand who's on call, where's the documentation for the service live, the quality of the service, and we'll actually integrate with all of the tooling in the company to basically build this single pane of glass where you can understand where the SLOs for the service, where the open vulnerabilities, things like that. It becomes especially useful for new engineer onboarding or on-call analysis. Scorecards make it so that you can actually say goodbye to that spreadsheet that I showed earlier. You can write a set of best practices and grade each service according to those best practices. Cortex actually gets integrated with over 40 different types of integrations, And it makes it really easy to quickly write a scorecard and start automating things like production readiness or security standards. The really cool thing about scorecards is that you can apply them to all services or specific types of services, and it'll even capture the historical data for each metric, and will congratulate engineers if they do well on their scorecards or show them areas that they should be focused on. One of the outputs of a scorecard is actually all the reporting that we have. This is one of my favorite reports, the Bird's Eye report. It actually builds almost this heat map view of all of the services that are in the scorecard, which then you can break down by team, product, business unit. This makes it really easy, especially for leadership, to understand which teams are doing well and which rules are kind of trending in the wrong direction. Just one of the case studies and examples of how we help companies. Clever had over 500 services and multiple different teams and they were previously using spreadsheets to track all of their migrations or security efforts. They migrated to Cortex and were able to automate all of it. And that had a massive impact and increase in developer productivity in general. It's been awesome working with the Google Cloud team on co-marketing efforts. Cortex is actually powered by Google Cloud, and we're available on the Google Cloud Marketplace. It's also been awesome doing co-marketing efforts like this one, and we're excited to continue to partnership with Google Cloud and Cortex. In terms of next steps, you can sign up for a demo at cortex.io. The product, you can try it out for free. You get full access to the platform. You can also find us on the GCP Marketplace. And if you're interested, we did record a webinar on how to supercharge your engineering organization using developer portals, which you can listen to at cortex.io/webinars. Back to you, Bonnie.
Thanks, Anish. Really great partnering with you. I'd like to introduce Greg from Tiny Clues. Greg, would you mind telling us a bit about yourself and what Tiny Clues is working on?
Thank you, Bonnie. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. My name is Greg Blond, and I'm the Director of Alliances and Global Accounts at Tiny Clues. I've had the pleasure of working with Google Cloud team over the past 18 months, and I would like to speak a bit about Tiny Clues' journey with Google. So Tiny Clues is a best-in-class customer segmentation solution designed for marketers. It's powered by deep learning and packaged in an easy-to-navigate UI built for non-technical users. We're almost 10 years old now, and we work with global brands like LVMH, Accor, and Samsung. So I myself have been with Tiny Clues since 2014, and I've become intimately familiar with the challenges marketers face. Here are three standouts. Number one, the sun is setting on third-party cookies, and marketers are scrambling to find a viable alternative for maintaining a clear view of consumers across digital touchpoints. Number two, major software vendors have a serious blind spot, and it's becoming more and more obvious to marketers. Marketing automation, which tends to be the focus of major solutions and only relies on explicit recent behaviors, can't succeed in addressing commercial priorities like product launches, destocking, and reactivation. And number three, data science teams are overstretched. These teams can build propensity scores, but not at scales. They simply don't have the capacity to continually produce dozens or even hundreds of scores on demand. So thankfully, Tiny Clues addresses these three challenges. How? We created an architecture that makes use of all available first-party data from day one. Tiny Clues is a multi-tenant application that leverages customer attributes, online and offline purchases, product catalogs, and first-party marketing logs without any data normalization required. We built a best-in-class predictive engine that calculates for each client in the customer database the likelihood to purchase a specific category, brand, or product, down even to the SKU level. All clients who have A/B tested Tiny Clues against in-house segmentation or external solutions have measured conversion uplift ranging from 30% to up to 200%. And we package this sophisticated AI into a user interface designed for marketers. Thanks to Tiny Clues, marketers can easily and autonomously build the most effective CRM campaign plan and export audiences directly to their marketing stacks. So let's deep dive into our three main functionalities. One, targeting. Tiny Clues uses the entirety of clients' first-party data to create precise lookalikes based on similarities with recent buyers of the content being promoted. We predict the likelihood of customers to make specific purchases within a specific time span. Two, fatigue management. Marketers can easily identify conflicts between campaigns to optimize frequency and relevancy and eliminate pressure and fatigue. And three, insights. Insight that enables marketers to identify gaps in their marketing plans. For example, The tool easily identifies trending topics that marketers would otherwise overlook. Marketers no longer need to be bound by their own assumptions or gut feelings. Tiny Clues allows for dynamic predictions based on seasonality and market trends. Over 150 B2C brands, including Samsung, Rakuten, and Air France, love Tiny Clues because it improves customer satisfaction and grows revenue through data-driven decisioning that goes beyond explicit behaviors and past purchases. Let's look at Air France as an example. Just because I went to Argentina last year doesn't mean I intend to go there again. But without Tiny Clues, Air France was forced to rely on this type of explicit signal to target customers. So now Tiny Clues is able to use all of Air France's first-party data to pinpoint unexpressed intent. So the airline can accurately target intenders with ease and boost revenue at scale. And working with Tiny Clues is a low-tech project. Take Samsung, for example, whose setup was accomplished in just a few days, thanks to Google BigQuery. Time to value with Tiny Clues is much shorter than with most MarTech investment or data science projects. Let's take a closer look at our architecture. In a nutshell, Tiny Clues works by ingesting first-party data from clients from various sources. But if the data come from BigQuery, that's ideal. Our predictive engine builds audiences, and we have connectors to push those audiences to clients' activation channels. Tiny Clues migrated to Google Cloud in early 2022. Our platform works by scoring thousands of topics across millions of users. This used to take hours. Now, thanks in large part to BigQuery, it takes less than 20 minutes. So our architecture, spearheaded by BigQuery, provides a highly scalable and cost-effective foundation for the next generation of customer data platforms. If you would like to learn more, we have published a detailed technical blog post on the inner workings of our architecture under Google Cloud, built with BigQuery series to provide additional context. We are thrilled to partner with Google because thanks to BigQuery, we can now offer clients the safest and most scalable way to share their data. We are listed on the Google Marketplace to ease the contracting process and further shorten time to value. And on the product side, the partnership allows our R&D teams to be early adopters of Google products and align our product roadmap with the future of public clouds. So if you like to know more, I would be thrilled to set up a demo of a solution and showcase the value that Tiny Clues could provide in the context of your own business. Many thanks for your attention, and chat soon. Back to you, Bonnie.
Thanks, Greg. Really great to hear what you're working with on Tiny Clues. I wanted to highlight one more partner, Sound Commerce, who are building on Google Cloud. Sound Commerce is a retail data and analytics platform, enabling retailers to build a profitable business by leveraging their own first-party data. Retailers are facing increased costs for just about everything, from production, marketing, shipping, and fulfillment. In addition, customer expectations are becoming more and more demanding, like demanding free shipping and free returns. And margins are slim, and running a profitable business is harder all the time. To fully understand profitability, retailers have to combine data sources that are complicated and dynamic. For example, they have to merge ERP or POS systems with their e-commerce and digital marketing platforms. These systems were never intended to talk to each other. And on top of it, data leaders are being asked to do this on limited time and with limited team resources. Sound Commerce is the fast and efficient way for modern retailer data pipeline. Having a pipeline in place is what allows retailers to understand and optimize profitability. What normally requires engineers to stitch together 4 or more platforms happens in a single unified platform with Sound Commerce. Data prep happens in the Reactor ETL platform, which includes ingestion, standardization, cataloging, and adding semantic definitions. From there, the data can be mapped into the retail data models that answer common challenges for line of business teams in marketing, operations, and merchandising. Sound Commerce is different from building a data pipeline in-house or by stitching together just various platforms. Sound Commerce was purpose-built for retail, which gives customers a fast path to a modern data pipeline across all their retail data sources. Their approach to data prep is to break incoming data message into the smallest possible components, standardize it, and structure it before it gets into the data warehouse, which means greater flexibility, less latency, and overall better business outcomes. Their platform provides visibility for everyone. It's not just for data engineers to see the path data is taking and the math behind any transformations that are happening, which increases overall adoption and trust. Sound Commerce customers are seeing great results from understanding their order profitability. They have a serious impact on their bottom line. Sound Commerce has brands that have increased their customer lifetime value by almost 20%. Their brands are prepared for a cookieless world and save a ton of time by having a unified data set. Sound Commerce and Google Cloud provide retail brands with modeled data to optimize every decision from first click to doorstep to maximize profitable growth. Sound Commerce selected the Google Cloud platform and its services to meet their goals and drive profitability for retailers and brands. Sound Commerce built a cloud-native solution on Google Cloud leveraging the Data Cloud platform. Data from various sources are ingested in raw format, parsed and processed as messages in cloud storage buckets using GKE and stored as individual events in Cloud Bigtable. A mapping engine maps the data to customer data models stored in BigQuery as data sets. Customers then use visualization dashboards and Looker to understand the data stored in BigQuery. It's been a great partnership working with Sound Commerce. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to Carly at Sound Commerce for a demo, or check out the recent Cloud blog that goes into deeper detail on Sound Commerce running on Google Cloud. They're also available on our marketplace. So in conclusion, Google has helped startups leverage and build and grow on Google Cloud. I want to thank all of our partners today for sharing what they've been working on in their journey with Google Cloud. If you're interested in being a partner with Google, you can join as a Google Cloud Build Partner on our Partner Advantage portal. Additionally, you can sign up for Google Cloud for Startups program that gives great benefits to startups so they can start building on Google Cloud. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of Next 22.